What's going on, guys? Josh here, and in this video I wanted to do something a little bit different and pull back the curtains and show you guys the behind the scenes of what really goes on in a mentoring program. So I mentor for a group of 3,200 people. It's a good friend of mine that owns the company and all that. Pretty much I mentor on a daily basis these students, right? So the reason why I wanted to show you guys this was because there's a lot of value in mentorship, right? But I always advocate, there's always value in mentorship, but only with the right mentors. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything like that, but I just wanted to show you how we go about diagnosing, a student's problems. So we dive into their ad account and have a look at everything and kind of give them feedback on, okay, what can we do to reignite performance? What can we do to increase overall revenue, and what are the next steps, right? Like whether it be conversion rate optimization, all that kinds of stuff. I just wanted to show you guys that, and yeah, I'm really excited for this one because this student just deserves all the props. He's been doing a great job, but there were some mistakes that he was making that kind of left the money on the table. He came to the live call, he understood, he asked the right questions, and as a result, he's now able to make the changes and have confidence in them and let Facebook do the rest. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. My name is Josh. For those of you who are new here, I'm a 7-figure seller who loves all things e-commerce, productivity, and personal finance. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video, guys.
So after the call, I duplicate one ad set that was at $32. I duplicate to $100, and so we've been making quite some sales. But over the last few days, the winning ad sets didn't make much sales. So the ROAS over the last 3 to 4 days was starting to be too low. So I had to turn those ad sets, and now I'm not so sure what to do.
Got it. The first thing that I would do is actually with these budgets, this thing here and this thing here, I would select both of them like this, right? Go into the edit section, and then you can edit the budget and reduce the budget by 10%.
Okay.
So what that does is tells Facebook, hey, I'm not happy with the results that you've given me in the last couple of days. So it will start to send you better quality traffic. And generally, for me, it has improved overall performance, right? Now, if that doesn't work, so that's option one. If that doesn't work, what you do is you turn off each ad set, right? And then turn it back on between 6 to 7 a.m.
Okay.
Right? And then so you're starting again, you're restarting it in the morning, sending it to new audiences, and you're just trying to jumpstart it, right?
So guys, I just wanted to really quickly pause here and kind of reiterate what we're talking about. Right, so when an ad set has poor performance, right, it's been doing really, really well at the beginning of launching that ad set, but then eventually just kind of fizzles out, right? There are two methods that I use and that we just spoke about. First, reduce the budgets down by about 10%. By doing this, you're going to send a negative signal back to Facebook and pretty much say, hey, Facebook, I'm not so happy with the results that you've given me. I'm going to reduce the budget down and see what you can do from that and see if you can reignite performance. All right. Now, if that doesn't perform, and you should be monitoring that over like a 2-day period after that reduction. If it doesn't perform, if it continues to fail, just turn it off. Right? Turn it off and just don't spend any more money on that ad set until the next day. In the next day, around 6 to 7 to 8 a.m., right, of the ad account time zone, you want to turn it back on because you're then telling Facebook, you're pretty much giving Facebook one more shot at, reigniting performance. It's going to take all of the previous learnings from all the purchases, all the click-through rates, CPMs, all of that kinds of stuff, and then relaunch your ads back into the auction on that day. And every single day is completely different. There's a different set of buyers every single day. So it's just a way of trying to reignite it. And for me personally, 8 out of 10 times after I've done the 10% reduction, and if that doesn't work, then turning it back on, the ad set back on the next morning, this reignites all ad sets and just performs really, really well and consistently over a long period of time. But just wanted to throw that in there so you guys have some context and why we do it. But yeah, let's go straight back into it.
It's gotten 16 purchases on this one ad set and 18. I don't know if it's the same audience here, but from what I can tell, it looks like it's a similar one, right?
Yeah, it was the same. It was the same audience.
Yeah. So you've gotten 24 audiences at a let's say a 2.2 return on ad spend, and that's profitable for you, right?
Yeah.
What I would actually try and do is first figure out what kind of audience size that this is. Like if you're in the ads manager right now, you can tell me. What audience?
Yeah, it's pretty huge. Let me check real quick. So actually, I think that at first I just made a test with this audience, and I ticked the box detail extension.
So I just want to jump in again and kind of explain to you guys why we're doing a CBO of duplicated ad set, 2-3 times, starting at $100 and then increasing the budgets every 3 days at about 20%, depending on performance, right? So pretty much you can see here on the screen, right? Like they've got that one ad set or 2 ad sets, sorry, same audience, but they've got a total of 24 purchases. So for me, that means that this guy or this ad set has passed the testing phase. It's past the testing phase and it's been profitable consistently. After spending $700, it's got a 2.25 return on ad spend. So that to me shows that, okay, there's a good signal here. Let's try to increase the spend, right? And the best way to do this and to have consistency is to actually put it into a CBO. Taking your hands off, giving more control back to Facebook. And Facebook is going to be able to dictate and choose which ad set is going to get the amount of spend to get you purchases, right? So after you put it into a CBO of $100, increasing it 20% is an extremely safe way of scaling, right? But sometimes it's just too slow. Let's say, for example, that CBO has performed really, really well over a period of a week, right? It spent $700 and you've increased it like 2-3 times. Then at that point, it's like, okay, if the performance is still really, really good, then what we're going to be doing is duplicating it out, that same CBO, but just increasing the budget by a significant amount. I generally like to start out at about $500 and just see how that goes. So I'm going to be watching that campaign very, very closely on that first day, because I just want to make sure that Facebook doesn't waste that $500. And it's just very, very important to do that. But this is just one of the methods that we use, and it's a little bit more aggressive in terms of that duplication. But we've literally passed through 2 hoops, right? We've done the first ABO testing, right? And then we've pushed it into a CBO of $100 and slowly started to increase spend. Okay, great. Those both 2 checks. So if we throw it into a CBO of about $500, we can have relative confidence that it will perform in this as well, because your ads are strong.
So 140 million.
140 million, huge.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. You could probably test is put this into a CBO. What I would do is as long as they're the same audience, right?
Yeah.
Move them into a CBO and spend whatever amount that you're comfortable with. Generally with CBOs, I started at $100 and then keep increasing it by 20% every 3 days.
Okay.
And then if this performs really, really well of the CBO, then what I'll do is I'll actually duplicate the CBO again, right? And then I'll do the budget at like 500.
Okay.
Right?
So I would like one CBO with those two ad sets. I put them on and move them to the CBO, or I create new ad set with the same audience.
No, sorry. So it's the same audience, right? These 2?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So what you would do is actually just duplicate the one audience, like probably this one here, right?
Yeah.
This one. Duplicate it into a CBO and then duplicate it maybe 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
Right. When you hit duplicate, you can choose the number, right? So that way you have 4 different ad sets targeting the same audience, like this, right? And then also make sure that only the ads that go in are only the profitable ones. So if you tick this and then you click ads for one campaign, you can see which one's profitable, right? Make sure those are the ones that go in here.
Yeah, so the thing is that in this ad set, there's only 2 ads and Facebook spend budget on only one of them. So if I remove the other one, there would just be like 1 ad.
Sure, that's fine. What I would do then is actually with the ad, duplicate it out like two or 3 times.
Okay, the same ad?
Yeah, the same ad, it's fine. So with this, right, like I can tell you specifically with your online store conversion rate, if you can increase that by 1%, you're gonna have like an amazing time. You're gonna have so much fun. 1% is actually still low. You can just start to tweak certain things. If you can improve that 1%, then it's going to be, awesome. Okay,
so now pretty much what we're doing is we've talked about the ads, we've looked at, what's worked, what hasn't, right? What are the next steps forward? What the student has then sent through is actually a snapshot of the e-commerce analytics. And pretty much we can see here that, there's a really low conversion rate. It's at like about 1%, but it's overall profitable, right? So my immediate advice is just let's work on getting that percentage, all right, the conversion rate percentage from 1 to like 2. And just by that, you're going to have double double the amount of conversions. It's going to be a game changer, right? So I just wanted to share that one, jump in here, let's see what we talk about.
Yeah, but I don't really know what to do actually, because like I feel like my team is quite, I mean the page is quite low to load, but I've already like tried to downsize the picture and optimize stuff, but it still doesn't really improve.
So page load speed, yes, it is very, very important. The best way to get it done, get it low, is actually to custom code it, right? Custom coding will allow like a very, very fast load speed, but like it doesn't, like, just because you have a slower website, like I think one of my first product that was successful, I think our average load speed was like 5 to 6 seconds. So it was very slow when I was getting started, right? But with that business, we still did 300,000 with one product, like no problem.
Okay.
So pretty much we're talking about website load speed, right? The student was talking about, I don't know how to increase website load speed, blah, blah, blah. Now, the best things that you can do to improve website load speed is, one, just make sure you don't have, too many apps on your store that don't really need to be there, right? Generally speaking, most of these apps kind of just slow your system down and slow the load speed down more than, and it's more detrimental than anything, right? The second thing that you should be doing is all of your product images, you should always make sure that it's in the JPEG format, so JPG, and then also make sure that you are throwing it into a picture optimizer. So I use something like Tiny PNG, and that reduces the size of each image, right? Without giving away or without like losing that quality of the image. And this is going to help tremendously in terms of overall load when it comes to loading the website. Website load speed is super important, but one of our first products, right, we did over 300,000 just with a slowly converting website because we focused on the emotional aspects of the product, the problem solving aspects of the product. So that's what we're going to go ahead and talk about right now. So let's just continue to watch this.
So don't worry too much about that. Rather than that, I'll talk about the more emotional aspects of it. Have a look at the brands that have been talked about in this live call. They spend a lot of money on conversion rate optimization. Because they've spent the money, you can just literally just copy it and then take those elements. So have a look at what they've done in certain spaces and then make those changes slowly on your website, and you should see conversion rate increase as well. The other thing that affects your conversion rate also is the audience that you send to the site. So if you're doing a lot of testing during this phase, right, where you made 2.3, if you're making a lot of testing and maybe the audience doesn't like, not every single one of these 4,000 audiences, are engaged or blah, blah, blah. So therefore your conversion rate will also reduce. So as your pixel gets smarter, your conversion rate will increase. The other thing that you can work on is probably like average order. 53 is decent, but if you can get that higher, then you just have so much more fun as well. So
so far I don't have any upsell so far, so I could put that, maybe offer the two of the same product with a discount or stuff like that.
Exactly, brother. So like use like apps like Zipify one-click upsell, where when people add the cart, a pop-up comes up, it's like, hey, do you want to buy another one for 20% off? And then a lot of times people buy another one just because they want multiple, right? Yeah, there's a lot of work. I'm happy for you that you've already gotten to this level, right? 2,300 is great, right? And if I look at your total ad spend, I think you're breaking even or slightly profitable now?
No, because before I did some PPE and I spent quite some money plus the product cost, so I'm done for like $300 or something, but the gap is getting tighter. Smaller.
Yeah. That's perfect, man. That's perfect. I'm happy for you. And I think once you do the CBO, because you're letting Facebook figure out the audience, like where the customers are, you're going to have better performance over a longer period of time. But just don't get too complacent. Make sure that you are looking for new ads, because those ads eventually will die.
Pretty much what we just spoke about is the importance of creatives, right? Because the student was talking about, okay, we've just had one ad that's been bringing us all the sales. It's very, very important that they don't just rely on that. They don't get complacent, because very often, when you're spending $100 a day, 200, 300, 400, however high you want to scale it, and as long as performance is good, eventually, right, there is a downfall, because that ad is going to be overly delivered, right? The frequency is going to go way too high, and people are just going to start to think of it as wallpaper, right? They're just going to see it's like, oh gosh, it's this ad again, and they're just going to scroll straight past. So that's why it's so important to have creatives always ready in the pipeline, and we'll go through that in another video, but just wanted to explain why I told that student to talk about, to create new creatives. Pretty much just in a nutshell, right? The student pretty much came and he had 2 ad sets that were completely turned off that were profitable. The thing that he didn't understand is that yes, you can rejig and kind of reignite performance, but he didn't know how to do that. I'm glad that we, with the 20 minutes that we had, we were able to speak to it, and now he understands exactly what to do next. Then we talked about, the importance of conversion rate and kind of debunked some myths that, he might have thought, or some limiting beliefs. He thought he needed to go get, custom coding to have a super quick loading speed website, but more often than not, yes, it is super important, but if you have like emotional triggers to the product on the product page and the ad, it's going to convert regardless, right? Because these people are just so engaged, they're willing to wait a little bit. Now, if it's like a 20-second load speed, of course that's going to affect your thing and your conversions, and obviously that's not a good thing. But just with a 5-second, maybe even like a below 5 seconds load speed, I wouldn't worry too much. After that, we talk about creatives, and we just spoke about that. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a little bit different, and yeah, we just talked about the whole thing, and I'm really glad that I was able to share this with you guys. This is what I live for, right? Like helping these people, they make some progress, and they start to see this fire, and they start to all the limiting beliefs start to get out of their heads, and they start to see, yes, I can do this. But then a wall comes, because that's entrepreneurship, that's business, right? It happens all the time. So it just brings me so much joy that I can help these guys along the way. And we have a very abundant mindset in the company, and we believe that there's plenty of money out there for everyone. So I just wanted to share this with you guys, and that's why I share my knowledge with you as well. So if you guys enjoyed this kind of content, let me know, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about this type of video, and hit that notification bell just so you know when I drop another video. But I'll catch you guys soon. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys stay safe. I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.